So I did not plan on coming back and talking about this again today, but to be honest, I have not been able to stop thinking about it since everything happened. Before we get into today's video, I did want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all had a wonderful week. I hope everybody's getting geared up for a nice weekend. Maybe get outside, do some gardening, maybe go for a walk, take your dog to the park. Something outside with the fresh air, a little bit of sunshine, and drinking your water. Okay, so in today's video, I just kind of wanted to chat with you guys about what ended up happening with the Nikolai Mew trial. Now, I did the first video and put it out with you guys on Tuesday, and I planned on doing a second part because that video I talked about what the prosecution was saying and the witnesses that they brought forth. And I thought I was going to do another video on what the defense's side had to say, but everything changed so fast this week, my head was spinning. And if y'all were watching the trial, you probably know what I'm talking about. So they went through the prosecution's witnesses. They brought up the interrogation / interview footage, and they played that, which did not look good because Nikolai told all kind of lies, but we talked about that in the other video. Ridiculous, just absolutely pointless, ridiculous stuff that he said. And then the prosecution rested their case, and we're like, whoa, that's it? And then the defense calls up their one and only witness, Nick or Nikolai. And after he got up and testified, the defense rested their case and the jury went out to deliberate. And I'm like, what just happened? Briefly, I'll tell y'all what happened. So like I said in the other video, Nikolai lied after the altercation at the river. Okay, he told all kind of lies that was the dumbest, in my opinion, lies, and he left out the most important parts of his truth. I mean, things that we literally seen on the video. It really makes me think that his memory or vision of some things, some of the lies were just flat out lies, were gargled and jumbled because when he had the opportunity to defend himself when speaking with the interview officer and talk about what happened, he left parts out. When he got up to testify, this is when you got to see more of Nikolai's personality. And in my opinion, what I saw was a man that speaks differently than a lot of people here, I guess, in America, like differently than maybe me or some people in my family. Like when I speak, I'm blah, 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 lots of emotion. I'm telling you guys how I feel. I'm very descriptive. That's my personality. My husband, on the other hand, when he's talking, especially if it's a high stress situation, he uses very few words, straight to the point. And there's times speaking with my husband, I'm like, why didn't you say this? And he's like, oh, I couldn't even think about it in the moment. And that was how I seen Nikolai testify.
Where were the 6 teenage boys that had been yelling at you?
They're following me.
Okay. Were you in their path as you walked across the river towards Madison?
No.
Did they have as far as you know, did they have a clear path down the river if they wanted?
More than plenty.
And honestly, when the defense was asking him questions about what happened that day, the defense was almost leading with the questions because Nikolai just answered every question.
Why did you feel like you couldn't back up?
I didn't feel safe turning my back on those people.
Okay. How about just taking a step backwards?
Well, I was standing my ground. I didn't move towards anybody.
Okay.
They're coming at me.
And I don't think that it's for any other reason other than that is who he is. He doesn't use a lot of expressive words when he speaks, it seems like, especially when he's maybe nervous or in a high stress situation. He just answers the questions. And when I seen the way he testified, and then I paired it with how he was on the river when he was surrounded by all those people yelling at him, it made even more sense to me. Now, we talked about this in the other video of how they said that when Nikolai was on the river, he did not speak. He didn't say a word. He did. You can see him in the video trying to speak to Madison.
The culture! Who is that? Who the hell is this? Go! It doesn't matter. Go!
And she's too busy yelling over him that she's not listening to anything that he's saying, and so therefore he stops speaking. When you pair that personality with who you see testify, it's very similar to what his personality is like. To make a long story short here, Nikolai got up on the stand and he testified. He admitted to lying. He admitted to forgetting lots of details, which to me did not make a big deal from my point of view. Again, I don't have a family member involved in this, so I'm going to have an outer, I'm going to have less emotions tied to the situation and more from the outside looking in type of view. But everybody that was there, all of the teens, all of the other two groups, the Schumann group and the Carlson group, none of them kept their stories straight. All of them changed their stories. All of them seemingly added stuff or left stuff out, whether it's because they were drinking, whether it's because they were trying to hide something. Every person that testified, Nikolai and everybody else, changed their story. But in this case, it only mattered that Nikolai changed his story. However, he was the only one that got up on the stand and admitted that yes, he lied because he was scared. When he was done testifying, the prosecution threw a bunch of extra lesser charges on there. Originally, he was charged with first-degree murder for Isaac and then first-degree attempted for the other four. Right before closing arguments, the prosecution added a bunch of different charges. And from my point of view, they added everything they could to see what would stick. I believe it was like 21 charges that it ended up being in total, that the jury of 12 would go back and deliberate to figure out if Nikolai was guilty or not. Now, I figured if you're going to throw 21 charges at him, he did something wrong. I mean, I think everybody can agree that he made some bad choices, just like everybody that was there did. I figured something would stick. However, when the jury came back to deliberate yesterday, as of me filming this now on Friday with you guys, I was shocked at what he was found guilty of. Oh my God.
Verdicts read as follows. As to count one of the information, Isaac Schumann, the jury finds Nikolai Mew guilty of first-degree reckless homicide as submitted.
Oh my God.
Question, did Mr. Mew commit the crime while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes.
Wow.
As to count two of the information, Alexander Martin, the jury finds Nikolai Mew guilty of first-degree recklessly endangering safety as submitted. Did Mr. Mew commit the crime while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes.
Even though he was not found guilty of first-degree intentional, the charge that he got found guilty of, the reckless homicide, carries a minimum of 40 years. He will spend his last days in prison over this situation. There will be no him getting out. That is, I believe, the minimum. I think for that, just that charge alone, it carries 60 years. But according to Google in Wisconsin, maybe we'll find out something different on sentencing. They did not give him a sentencing date yet, but according to Google, 40 years minimum with 20 years like on paper afterwards. And he's 54 years old. They'd probably give him time served to being when he got locked up at 52, which means at best he'll be 92 when he gets out. So if he makes it that long in prison. And mind you, again, this is a guy that's 52 years old, never even had a speeding ticket, zero criminal history, zero kind of history like that at all. And his life and everybody else's life changed in a split second. In a second. My opinion, I don't agree with the verdict. It's not for me to agree with, but however, because you guys have been asking, and just a reminder, over on my Patreon, under the $2 tier, if you guys want to join, the link is in the description box. Make sure you read the About section and what each tier offers. I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday, I did a 45-minute long video where I went over the video of them at the river and broke things down and tell you guys my opinion. You don't need to join my Patreon in order to see that video. You can find it on the internet somewhere. I can't link it here because it's too graphic, but you can find it. Or you can join my Patreon and go over it with me. And then last night, we did a live where we talked for like over 50 minutes about the verdict. So all of that stuff is kind of like more uncensored and stuff over on my Patreon. But I don't agree with the verdict. And I actually even woke up this morning feeling, it was like the first thing I thought about, like I feel bad for the situation. I really, truly do. I don't think it's right. And I've been trying to rack my brain around how I think the jury came to this. And it's either three things. Either one, they believe it wasn't self-defense, okay? And they believe that there was zero reasonable doubt. That's either one thing. Either two, it's small town vibes, which mind you, Hudson, where the trial took place, according to Google in 2022, they have a population of 15,000 people. So you're talking very small town. And the town that Isaac, the 17-year-old that passed away, is from is 12 minutes from Hudson. Mind you, when this happened not long afterwards, of course, they did a vigil for Isaac. And it is very sad that he lost his life in the situation. And over 500 people were there. And it was front page newspaper. I mean, it's pretty hard for everybody in these communities to not know somebody that knows somebody. Something. Okay, so either all 12 jury members found zero reasonable doubt that it could have been self-defense and that he was scared, small town vibes, or he just did not defend himself or speak well enough on the stand to convey what he was feeling. My opinion, I don't know. I have to wonder if it's the small town vibes, and I'll tell you guys why. And listen, it's a jury of your peers. It can go either way, and which is kind of scary. Like this situation is kind of, like this is a little nerve-wracking in my opinion. But when you think about the Casey Anthony trial, okay, you think about the Alec Murdaugh trial, which mind you, I do believe that Alec Murdaugh had involvement in what happened to his wife and son, one way or another, whether it was ripping people off, whether he was doing whatever and somebody was coming after him and got them, or whether he did it. However, in the trial, I definitely don't think that they proved it beyond a reasonable doubt. I think that that was like a town type of vibe too, where everybody just knew he was a crook and he was going to get guilty regardless at that point. That's my personal opinion. So Casey Anthony, Alec Murdaugh, and now this case shows me that you can think it's going one way and you really truly never know. What really tipped me to that conclusion is the fact of when they charged Nikolai. The last charge that he got was a battery charge against that chick, Madison.
As to count 6 of the information, Madison Cohen, the jury finds Nikolai Mew guilty of battery as charged. Did Mr. Mew commit the crime while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes.
Okay, y'all remember Madison was the one that was walking up in the one-piece blue swimsuit. She was the one he was trying to talk to and tell her, hey, I dropped my goggles. I can't find my goggles. Whatever he was saying about his goggles, which mind you, he said that those goggles were sentimental to him. Him and his wife got them when they were on some sort of trip. I mean, the man's, at that time, he's 52 years old. It's him, his 65-year-old wife, and their dog.
My first walk, my new life.
Did it take you some time to recover and be as active and mobile as you were before?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think you ever reached the same level of mobility and fitness that you were prior to the quadruple bypass?
Never.
What's the picture of you on the right there? You can tell us.
My baby.
Okay. Is that a dog?
Yeah,
Is that dog important to you?
my angel.
Okay. And that's the cushion's helping you to enjoy time with her, but still keeping your chest safe.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, those types of things are that are important to him. And it was sentimental to him. He wanted his goggles. He dropped them after coming towards the tubes because allegedly the kids told him they had the phone he was looking for, according to him, whatever. When Madison comes walking up, he's trying to talk to her. She's yelling, "Get your effing A, go, 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 go."
Look at the culture! Who is that? Who the hell is this? Go! It doesn't matter. He said he was looking for little girl! He said he was looking for little girl! You're looking for little girl? Yeah!
She's pointing at him to go downriver. Mind you, Nikolai needs to go the other way where the crowd is coming up to get to his family, his wife, and all of his friends. They were on the beach on the opposite side of the river. But he was trying to tell her he wanted to get his goggles. He was looking for a phone first, and she's yelling at him, "Go, go, go." They're calling her online the Queen of the River because he couldn't go any other way. He had to go the way that she told him to go. This is where she grabs him by the arm, spins him around, and points downriver again and tells him he needs to go that way. And just FYI, she or nobody else owns the river. It's a large river. He can go in any direction that he wants to. However, he still tries to swing his left arm out to tell her about the situation. She's not listening, so he turns around the other way and he looks towards the beach, the direction that his wife and his friends are, and he tries to wave for help. Okay? She was, according to her testimony, which we did not get to see because it was left out of the court proceedings where we could see, she gracefully laid her hands on him to guide him backwards.
The hell is this? Go! It doesn't matter. He said he was looking for little girl! He said he was looking for little girl! You're looking for little girl? Yeah! That's exactly what he said. Weirded us out! I even have that part on camera.
This is where the two ladies are putting their hands on him, pushing him, phone in the face, grabbing him by the arm, and he's looking past them, trying to get the attention of his friends and his wife on the beach to come and help him. Mind you, they asked him during this trial, why didn't he back up away from the group? Nikolai was like, what he should have said was that he did back up from the group. Because if you see where he started at versus where he ended was like 10 or 15 feet backwards. He was being backed up, but he didn't get on the stand and defend himself because it seems like Nikolai is not a man that describes himself or his feelings or what he's going through with his words very well. She's also the one that said that Nikolai punched her in the face. At the same time, everybody that testified had a different story of how it happened. Some say it was a slap, some say it was a punch, some say it was a right hand, some say it was a left hand, some say it was the left side of the face, the right side. Nobody kept their story straight. Nobody. Everybody had different stories. Everybody changed their stories, including Madison. As a matter of fact, when she was up testifying, and allegedly this happened to her, she testified that he hit her with his left hand to her left side of her face. And when the defense got up there, the defense said, you know that that's not physically possible. And you know what her response was? Oh, well, I guess I get my rights and lefts mixed up. A traumatic incident where somebody loses their life and 4 of your friends are life flighted to the hospital. You say you had a mark on your face, which the police that interviewed her did not see any mark on her face. She said she had a mark on her face. And again, she said that she was punched in the face by a 240-pound man. She had her phone in her hand, her alcoholic beverage in her hand. She didn't drop anything. She didn't fall. It wasn't on camera. No one can keep their story straight, not even her. And then the real kicker is she said she took pictures of her injury and she deleted them.
September 2nd of 2022, Do you remember being brought into a meeting with Investigator Williams and Madison Cohen and her mother? Do you remember that?
Yes.
You recall, there was a hope of trying to locate a potential photo of Madison Cohen on her cell phone, right?
Yes.
Right. And if you recall, there was a question on whether that could be done because Ms. Cohen had told you that it was deleted, right?
Correct.
Okay, so she had said, I've taken my phone and I've deleted that off of my phone.
Yes.
In an actual murder case, where is somebody allowed to delete the evidence? Why would you even want to? When you know 4 of your friends were life-flighted to the hospital, one of them barely didn't even make it. But you deleted the evidence? That's not tampering with evidence? I'm literally sitting here editing this video for y'all this Saturday morning. I just have to repeat this. I want you guys to think about this like I'm thinking about it, okay? Madison, the one who was get down the river, go, move your effing A, okay? Allegedly, according to her, Nikolai punched her in the face. When he punched her in the face is when everybody jumped on him in order to protect her. You know, you don't hit a woman, that whole thing, okay? So in theory, all these people were injured because they were protecting her, okay? Well, not only is she the only one that would not show her face when she testified, but the evidence, the photo evidence that she allegedly had, she deleted. In what world would any of you guys be in a situation where one person loses their life and 4 people are life-flighted to a hospital, 2 of them with lifelong injuries that they will probably have different issues from the rest of their life in order to protect you, and you decide to delete the evidence off of your phone? I'm just going to delete it off of my phone. I'd be the first one up there testifying. I'd be like, do you need a blood sample, spit sample, hair sample? What do you need? A lie detector test? Here, search my whole entire phone. Because these people risked their lives to protect me, and now I'm going to do my part. But she wouldn't even show her face when she testified, and then she deleted the evidence off of her phone. Then when she even did get up to testify, which none of us were able to see, she gets her rights and her lefts mixed up. And I listen. I don't know. We all know I may not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but I mean, it sounds a little fishy, right? It seems a little strange. But they still charged him with battery for that. It's so weird. It made me feel like just because of that right there, that he was going to get stuck with everything regardless. And it's a shame. I wouldn't have thought it was unfair if he got 10 years in prison, okay? I do think that he made a lot of bad choices. I think everybody made a lot of bad choices, okay? I don't think that there's a world where you can go up and start punching somebody, pushing them in the water, putting your hands around their necks, and you can't defend yourself, especially when there's a physical and an age and a health imbalance. Like a bunch of healthy football players in high school versus an older man with his, Birkenstock flip-flaps that are falling apart in the water, the rocky water, who just had a quadruple bypass surgery, who's just literally out there snorkeling, looking for a phone. I don't care if he was looking for goose eggs in the river. He's allowed to do that. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He doesn't have to answer to a bunch of teenagers about what he's doing with his snorkel in the water. And I think it's a sad day. And if he would have gotten 10 years for something, I'd have been like, that's fair, because he messed up. There's things he could have done differently too. But the fact that all of the other ones were able to get away with physically jumping on this man, and if that was my grandpa, I can't even imagine. They were able to get away with that. Nobody else was charged for nothing. And he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Is unsettling. It's unsettling to me. A lot of people have been wondering if he's going to get an appeal. I don't think he's going to get an appeal. I guess we'll see. I know that his defense team looked upset too.
As to count 1 of the information, Isaac Schumann,
the jury finds Nikolai Mew guilty of first-degree reckless homicide as submitted. Question, did Mr. Mew commit the crime while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes. As to count 2 of the information, Alexander Martin, the jury finds Nikolai Mew guilty of first-degree recklessly endangering safety as submitted. Did Mr. Mew commit the crime while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes.
And he looked defeated. And he's going to probably have a very, very hard time in prison. You know. I know that the family of Isaac, they came out and spoke out, and they were happy. They felt like justice was served for Isaac, their son, as well as everybody else.
I just want to thank all our supporters, our family, law enforcement, people we have that have supported us that we don't even know throughout the country, state of Minnesota, wherever. It's been 21 months we've been waiting for justice for Isaac Michael Schumann, and we got it today. So I just want to tell everybody I appreciate all your love and support, and
Justice for Isaac.
yes, justice for
And the
Isaac.
other victims. Yes.
So, thank you very much.
And that is good for them. I'm glad and hope that they have some sort of peace inside, because I know that this was stressful for them. And all of our kids, teenagers, they make bad choices at times. They make mistakes. They have to learn lessons, hard lessons. I have had to learn a lot of hard lessons, but you never expect your child is going to have to learn that type of lesson. So I don't know, you guys. At the end of the day, I don't agree with it. You guys want to know my opinion? I think that the punishment was way too harsh. I do. I think that you should not be allowed to run up on somebody. And I also think that it should be some sort of illegal to throw accusations out as far as calling somebody a pedophile or a raper, like in public or anywhere like that. Because they could have got that man done in just from that. Imagine being in public and you see a bunch of teenagers yelling at a man saying that he's a raper. Most people are going to go and help because they think that this is a guy that's going to do this. And they're laughing about it. And it's funny to them. They're picking on this old man. Did he look weird? Did he look creepy? Did he say some creepy things? Maybe. I don't know. But that's not enough to do what they did. If I see somebody looking creepy, I go the other way. I don't surround them and heckle them and bully them and hope that he does something. Hope that maybe he trips and falls into me so all me and my friends can pick on this old man. I also think that the 5 young men, the high schoolers that survived this incident that came with Isaac, a few of them got on the stand and looked like it was weighing on them. A couple of them got on the stand and looked pretty cocky. I believe that when these young men are 30 years old and older, they're going to be thinking back about this, and it's probably going to weigh on them. And I hope that they get the therapy or the psychological help that they will need, because as we get older and our views start to change and we look back at the things we've done when we're younger, maybe we're older and we're getting picked on and we start seeing things differently, I think it's going to mess with them. I think they're going to look back and realize their friend got in that situation because they wanted to make a funny video for the culture. And a man lost his life. A woman lost her husband. Another woman and man lost their son. 4 other people's lives were changed. Everybody's lives were changed forever. 2 of them had major surgeries. One of them, AJ, literally almost did not live. And I'm not even as upset about the situation about some of the people from the second group, because I do think that they believed they were coming to help. I think that they thought that they were coming to help. And I think that they thought more had happened than what really happened. And I think, all of their lives have been changed because of this. Scary. Let me know what you guys think. Other than that, I love y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.